Welcome back to Vision Auto Garage. My name's Rob and this is episode 9 of my mid-engine rear-wheel drive Rover Metro project. Since the last episode, the engine, now mounted in the subframe, has been rolled into the shell and the front subframe mounts completed in 4mm plate. Much like the car, this episode is a bitser. It's bits of this and bits of that. And the first thing I've got to do today is replace this OEM engine mount. When I was fabricating my new engine mounts, I didn't realise that the OEM Audi TT mount is actually oil filled. There's a diaphragm at the bottom that contains all that oil, and when I got that hot, it melted. Fortunately, I have acres of space to work in, so I'm going to support the engine and remove the old mount. Correct spec bolts have arrived for the gearbox side mount. M12 by 30mm, fine thread 12.9, high tensile cap head bolts to be precise. Well, that's a couple of easy jobs off today's list, and now it's time for something a bit more challenging. I feel like the car needs a name. Now, the project title has been MR Metro, MR meaning mid-engine rear-wheel drive, but I feel like it's time for something more fitting to the car. As I mentioned before, the car's a bitser. It's bits of this and bits of that. There's Rover, there's Audi and there's MG. Now, bitser's a terrible name for a car and I would never call it that. However, Rover and Audi could be used to make rowdy, and this car certainly will be when it's going. If you've got any other suggestions for a name, post them in the comments below and I'll see which ones take my fancy. At the moment, only the front mounts of the subframe are fixed in place. The rears are going to attach to a tubular structure that's going to be welded to the roll cage. So before I can do that, I need to make sure the roll cage is 100% finished and welded in place. I couldn't progress with the cage until now because I needed the engine in place to work out the locations of the rear crossbars. I had planned to have the optional cross brace between the back stays meet up with the strut bar, but with the engine in place there's no straight line between them, so the cross brace will have to go in the main hoop along with the harness bar. A diagonal roof bar is the last tube that needs to be in place before the cage can be permanently fixed to the body. All the remaining bars have good welding access with the cage in place. After measuring twice, a length of tube is cut and cleaned. A 10-degree bend is added to each end so that the bar sits closer to the roofline, and this is later increased to 15 degrees for a better fit. offered up and marked for notching. It's then notched and cleaned and then beveled. Frustratingly, I've just run out of welding gas, which means I'm not going to be able to finish the roll cage fabrication like I planned. So I thought I'd take a couple of minutes and talk about the engine management and body electronics that I'm going to be using on this project. It just so happens that outside I had an unfinished project that was kitted out with an Emerald K-6 Ecu, a Moto Gadget M-Unit Blue body control module, and an Innova LC2 wideband controller. The Emerald K-6 Ecu is a very powerful and versatile standalone unit which packs a load of great features like boost control and switchable maps. Unfortunately, this version doesn't support electronic throttle, so I'll either have to convert or replace the OEM electronic throttle body. The Moto Gadget M-Unit Blue is designed for motorcycles, but this little unit is full of solid-state relays and digital fuses and will simplify the body wiring significantly. It also pairs with a smartphone app for control and programming of features like the built-in alarm. I'll feature the M-Unit in its own episode as I'm an official Moto Gadget reseller. A wideband O2 sensor and controller are essentials for aftermarket ECU tuning, and the Innova LC2 is a robust unit, complete with a Bosch wideband sensor. Well, it's been a bit of a frustrating day in the workshop for me, and I don't really feel like I've achieved much. But I hope you enjoyed the episode anyway, and if you have, please click the thumbs up, hit subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.